Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. NIK NIKAM, and this is COVID-19 World News brought to you from Houston, Texas. The focus today is going to be on children. Should they go to school in person or should they attend virtual classes? I'm going to show you a debate I had on my Facebook page. As of August 2021, there are more than 38.2 million cases of COVID recorded here in the United States, accounting for more than 643,110 deaths. There is a continued increase in the number of new cases per day. As of August 20th, there were more than 151,000 new cases of COVID, out of which 10 to 15% of them were found in patients who are less than 19 years of age. If you look at the United States map, it is red all over. The most significantly affected states are, of course, Texas, Florida, and to some degree California. If you look at the numbers from the Worldometer, you can see Texas is leading with the 22,780 cases, new cases per day, and a mortality of 184. The mortality was less than 50 at the end of June. Followed by that, we have California with 16,000 plus cases and Georgia with 9,000 plus cases. Then if you look at the Texas itself, Harris County has been the hotbed of COVID-19 cases, more than 90% of which are of the Delta variant. Followed by that, we have Dallas and Bexar County, which is San Antonio, and we are going to look at the hospitalizations here in Texas, which is skyrocketing since the end of June. The number of patients in the hospital with COVID infection are 12,841 just in the state of Texas. They are occupying just about every bed available in the state of Texas. We only about 330 ICU beds left in the whole state of Texas, and you can see there is no sign of relief as far as hospitalizations are concerned here in the Texas area. So if you look at the number of cases below the age of 19, you will see there's almost like 8,000 cases, which accounts for like 8 to 10%. But in New York, the number of children below the age of 19 accounted for 15% of the new cases reported. And as you can see, Harris County, which serves 6.688 million people, has only 55 ICU beds left, and there are more than 3,277 cases of active COVID cases across the state of Texas. Now, this is my Facebook page where I have close to 5,000 people, and this is a debate which I posted on August 18th. The topic was schools and masks. I asked a few questions. I said, should your children attend school in person or should they be attending virtual classes? Should your children wear masks? That's a no-brainer. Who decides whether they should wear masks or not? Please share your comments so it would help parents and children to make a logical decision in the community. And I put some stats from the various sites. There are approximately 48 million children under the age of 12 and 28.3 million children between age 5 and 11 who are going to be planning to attend schools from kindergarten all the way to K-11. You're talking about 9th grade, but at a stage when children are accounting for 14.4% of all COVID cases here in the United States. And as a matter of fact, Texas has run out of ICU beds for children with COVID infections. Some of them had to be live flighted from major cities like Dallas and Houston to smaller cities like Austin or Temple to manage these patients. To add to that, Hillsborough County in Florida quarantined more than 8,000 students. I want to go through some of the comments that were provided by our friends and colleagues. If you would like to get more information about the COVID situation in children, the good place to visit would be the American Association of Physicians, and there you can follow their COVID page to look at the latest data in terms of number of children who are affected and number of children who are in the hospital and other stats. And here's a person who commented that masks need to be collective or it is not effective. That is a good point. Everyone should be wearing a mask. If only half the students are wearing the mask, then it doesn't make any sense because the other half are not going to get any benefit. If our goal is to reduce the spread and keep schools open in person, there needs to be a school mandate. Let me underscore this word mandate. Mandate means force children. You're talking about taking a 5-year-old kid, a 6-year-old kid and forcing them to do something. Think about it. Or enforce them. How are we going to enforce that? I mean, these are all real questions. I'm not disputing their argument. I'm just asking these questions. How are we going to force people to do something, and how are we going to maintain that children wear masks for 6 hours during the school period? And one of our good friends said we need to keep politics out of schools and children. That's a logical statement. If schools are totally virtual, the rate of COVID may be controlled. Without masks, having asymptomatic cases. Okay, let's underscore that. Asymptomatic cases. Yes, some of them may not have any symptoms, but if they are carrying the virus and if they are spreading it, and if only half the people are wearing the mask, how good it is. So let's save our kids, keeps politics out, and have uniform rules for all schools in Texas. I think she makes some very good points, and I would like to say, when it comes to masks, at the end of the day, it is the parents who have to make a decision as what is in the best interest of their children. Please make kids' school virtual, and this may be an important point to keep in mind. And my reply was, you're absolutely right. Children's safety comes first, especially those who are below the age of 12 who do not have the privilege of getting the vaccine. And it is the parents who have to make their decisions on their behalf, since these are minors. And another concerned mother said, if I had a choice, I would homeschool. If I don't have a choice, then I will send my children with mask or two and hope for the best. What would you do? And I said, these are very challenging situations for children, for parents, and for schools too. And there are some heated arguments between the school boards, the Teachers Association. I think we are sort of missing the important aspect, which is the children. It is the children's safety that we should be concerned, and leaving politics aside as such. And let's face it, for the most part, they have lost their schools since March 2020. Would another 2 or 3 months of homeschooling or virtual schooling make a big difference? But it could make a difference in terms of them getting sick and ending up in an ICU. As we know, 15% of the new reported cases are seen among children. And what about those children who are less than 12 years old who can't even get the vaccine? How are we going to address that issue? And one of my doctors from Little Rock, who deals with children in the ICU, and she commented that we are running out of ICU beds. And I already talked about Houston and Dallas running out of ICU beds for COVID patients. We are talking about these are children between the ages of 5 to 10 years old. How are we going to deal with those when we can't take care of these patients in the hospital? And one of our research scholars said, masks, yes, vaccination, yes, forced masks, no, forced vaccination, no. And he said, mandatory means force. Where do people use force? Think about it. In what countries do they force people to do things they don't like to do? And my good friend Chandra Mittal said, is public health government responsibility? The society need a government. Okay, let me come back to this. Let's see, we got a few more points. I want to come to my final point. Someone said, is Fox, and you can add all other news media to the basket, and ask, do they not have premeditated opinions? Absolutely, yes, as far as I'm concerned. Every media has a political affiliation, and every media has its own spin on the real facts and data. But as a doctor, what I present are real facts and data, and that's up to the people. It's up to the people to decide what they want to make out of this. So let me come back to my final analysis of this topic. And I said, however, after observing for 18 months, I have noticed the so-called experts and medical establishments like CDC, FDA, NIH have become a political extension of a ruling party and in no way reflect true science as we doctors and researchers see. We can also add the school boards and PTAs to these political wing. Hence, I feel the decision between a patient, here a child, and a doctor should be sacred one. It should be preserved at all costs. The institutions and even personal doctors can make informed recommendations. Let me underscore the point, can make informed recommendations. But the final decision can only come from the patient or parents in case of minors. This is one of the reasons why, as doctors, we give an informed consent to a patient for any kind of medical treatment, diagnostic test, or whatever we do with the patient. If they don't sign the paper, we don't have the right to do anything to the patient. When politicians play doctors, and even worse, when they force something on you, you know that you are not living in a free democratic society. Well, I use a different term here. I'm not trying to inject politics into medicine, but when politics takes medical decisions away from the individual, it sets a dangerous precedent. What do you think? Who should be making the decision as far as whether your children should be wearing masks, whether they should be attending school in person, whether they should attend virtual school, and if so, for how long? Let us hear your comments, and we would love to share your comments with our community on YouTube, where we have more than 27,500 subscribers. Thank you so much for your time.